Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been almost a month since I did a video, and everybody can make excuses and whatnot. Really, I got 3 little kids. My wife just went back to work, and because they went to daycare, yeah, everybody's been sick. So we're just getting over all the ear infections and everything else, and hopefully we'll be back to our regular schedule of programming. Now, we got a whole bunch of stuff moved around in the shop. We got some of the winter storage stuff out of here. We got man lifts that we've been working on. We got trucks, we got Trans Ams. I mean, it's been all over the place. Now, we left off on this thing back. The back end was completely finished other than a shock mount on the top, and the front end needed to be addressed. So, speaking with the customer, he wanted this thing to sit flat, not nose down or nose up. You know, when it's parked. Usually all these trucks that are bagged, the frame sits on the ground, so it doesn't really matter. You don't have to make stops or anything. But this one doesn't. It kind of stops with itself. So the axle, if we go back here, let's look underneath. So the axle hits the frame right there, like you can see. So we're gonna put a little piece of rubber in there so it's not, you know, metal on metal when you go down. But that gives us roughly our height of where we want to be. Again, we don't want nose up or nose down. So moving up here to the front, you can see that our strut rod right here will come in contact with the idler arm right here. So we're only able to go down so far. So what I was trying to do was get it as low as we can without interfering with this stuff. I don't want to screw up any of the steering, and you know, how far is that in relation to the back? How close can I get it to relation to the back? So does it look right or not? Now, I was able to, you know what, I was gonna try and do that side, but let's jump over here. So I came up with this design here. So we reinforced the stock coil bucket. The coil spring used to sit in here and come down, and now the airbag's gonna sit in there. So we reinforced the outside of it, and I made this plate, and if I jack this up, you can see it a little bit better. So what we did was, this is now our bump stop, and that's gonna come up and it radiuses into the top. So it presses on here and into the top of that coil pocket. It comes down here, and that strut rod right here that I was showing you, it bottoms out on this plate here as we go up. Boop, there you go. So that's how I decided to do our bump stop. So now as this thing goes up, it's gonna bottom out here. That force is gonna get transferred all the way through into the side and into the top of that coil pocket, which is obviously strong enough because it used to hold all the way to the vehicle right here. Now our airbag can go back in. I just have to tack in this lower mount here. But the plan right now is we're going to go ahead, put the front wheels back on it, set it down on the ground, and just make sure that it sits flat, or, you know, within 1/8 of an inch. And if that's great, then we're gonna go back up and we need to make some shock mounts. Now, the customer, where did I put it? Anyways, the customer wants me to use the stock shocks off of the front end of the Dodge dump truck. So we're going to go ahead and make a little bracket that comes off the lower control arm right here, and it's gonna come up and it's gonna come off the side of the frame, and our shock is gonna be kind of in this area here. Now, one thing I will say is, if you're gonna try and do this kind of a bump stop on your vehicle, here's a couple things that we ran into and a couple things that made it a lot harder than just welding a piece in. So you need to make sure that you have clearance from here, the furthest out point, to the back side of the caliper. For us, it just clears when we go ahead and turn all the way right to the passenger side. The piston here, the caliper, kind of comes around and it gets pretty close, but it ends up hitting this right here to here. That's your steering stop. It ends up here hitting that just barely before it hits this. Also, what you want to make sure is we had to do this radius here so that, if you could see right there, that's the factory rubber bump stop in the upper control arm. As that comes down, it's gonna rest on the top here and stop it from coming down too far. If this was a square, let's say, you wouldn't get any down travel out of that A-arm up here on the top. It would hit. So you need to watch that. So, couple things that you need to watch out for. Anyways, we're just rambling, so let's get this thing wheels on, down on the ground, and see how we did. If it ends up being good, we'll get some cardboard out. We'll start making our templates for the shock mounts. And that's about where we're going to stop tonight, because we're going to send that over to Dynamic. So let's get it on down on the ground, and I'll bring you back, show you what we got. Alrighty, so I saved you the boring stuff of putting the wheels back on, dropping it down on the ground. And I'd like to say we're within 1/8 of an inch. Front to back, and that's, I don't know, let's say it's 10 feet. So 1/8 of an inch over 10 feet. I don't know how much better you want to get. Anywho, let's spin you around and take a look, because I'm pretty pumped. So there you go. That is sitting down now on the bump stop. These are, again, only a 16-inch wheel. We're getting a 22.5 on it. And then if I jump over here in the back, now this is going to be cut out here, and he's putting a dually flare on, but I'm not doing that stuff. It was my stuff just to get it mounted, you know, bagged and everything and ready to go. He's going to take it now, do all the body and finishing touches, wiring, all that kind of stuff. So I'll show you this side here real quick. But again, that's with 1/8 of an inch off, front to back, side to side within 1/4 of an inch. So again, I don't know how much better you want to get it. Once we put a piece of rubber in there, there'll be some compliance depending where you're at, you know, when you park out. Right now the concrete's not perfectly level, so it could be part of that. Tires could be, you know, one could be a little bit lower than another one. So, I mean, there's all kinds of different variables in it, but that's where we're at. So now we know that the bump stops and everything are in the correct place. What we want to do is get it back up in the air, make some templates for our shock mount, so we can get that done in CAD today or tonight, and get it cut tomorrow at Dynamic, and then we'll get this thing wrapped up. Now, you are probably wondering why we don't have a front bumper. The front bumper that he has here is all damaged. It's all bent and crinkled, so I haven't put it on. I don't know if he's going to want to put a new one. I would assume so, but once he gets over here later in the week, he can take a peek at it, review everything, and if he wants that one on it, we'll get the bumper on. If not, no big deal. So I think what we're going to do, like I mentioned, if you can see, that's our little bump stop there. We're going to put the shock in the back. That way it's away from all the steering and everything going on up here in the front. And it should be way out of the way when the tire goes to turn. So just kind of nitpicking stuff. We're going to do that. And this one body mount up here at the front on the passenger side, I don't really like how tight it is around the washer for the energy suspension bushing. So I'm going to cut that one off and redo that one, just because my OCD won't let it go. So let's get it back up in the air. We'll get this thing cut and hopefully wrap it up as far as we can tonight. All right, well, look at that. We got the hoist clear, and that is a good sign. That means that the truck came off of there and we are done with our part of the project, and it's on to paint and body. Couldn't be happier. This thing looks absolutely incredible. Let's take a peek. So there you have it, guys. This thing is sitting down on the bump stops again. I am not going to be putting the airbags in place and kind of half plumbing them. What I did was take one bag, I put it on each corner, lifted it up and down, made sure that they do articulate. It is, you know, exactly what we need it to do. But this thing is going for paint and body, everything else. There's no point leaving the bags in there for them to dry rot. He can leave them in his house or his garage or whatever he seems to want to do with them. So it is sitting down right now on the bump stops front and back. So it's not going to go any lower. You can roll it around, you can steer it, you can do whatever. So that's where we're going to leave it. Now, what I did do was put all the parts inside of it. So again, all he has to do is pull the trailer up. We can throw it up on there and it's all said and done. So that's the end of this project. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. It's not very often somebody comes to you and says, I'd like to take this old dump truck, change the make of it, put a different body on, shorten the frame, airbag it, and oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna throw it on 22.5 semi wheels. So it's kind of cool when those things come along, and hey, I'm one of those guys that jumps on an opportunity. So hopefully the customer likes it as much as I do, and maybe he'll come back one day with something else. Now, that is the end of this video. That is the end of this build series. We do have something else coming in, another bag truck. Actually, it's another Dodge. He wants a lot of framework done and that kind of stuff, so that one's coming in next. We have the Trans Am over here. The owner has been getting a lot of stuff done. He's got wiring going in here, fuel lines, got all the brake system done on it. We got parts scattered all around this thing, but it is coming together as well. So hopefully this weekend I'll be able to get the radiator mounted and finish up the little fab stuff that I need to do on the front of this thing. And then we're gonna pull the motor and trans. We got a couple parts that are gonna go for powder coat. And yeah, hopefully in a week or so, this thing will be said and gone as well. Now, all this said, that's an update on the Trans Am. That's the end of this project. I'd really like to thank you guys for getting this far. I know it's been a little while since we did the video, like I mentioned at the start, but hey, I got a couple of kids. I got 3 little kids now. My wife just started going back to work, so life has been crazy. I'm sure the videos are going to slow down a little bit from the 2 a week, but I do want to get back out here and do some more regularly scheduled content. Now, who are we going to thank today? Phase 2 Motor Trend. Phase 2 Motor Trend is the guys who hooked us up with the suspension in the back of my 06 Mustang. I can't say enough about it. I absolutely love the parts. And hey, they make some really badass stuff. If you're into imports, they do front suspensions, they do, you know, intercooler tubing and radiator plumbing and floor mats and all kinds of stuff. They do a ton of stuff for the import scene. They're breaking into the Mustang scene, and that's where we came along to help them out. Make sure you go over to Phase 2 Motor Trend, say hello, tell them 710 sent you, and hey, they got some really badass new air fresheners, so hey, grab an air freshener, all right? Anyways, good to see you. Thanks for coming out, and I guess that's the end of this video. So, I'm gonna go in, get some sleep, shower up, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks again. See ya!